Dual Mode is here, and I know you're ready to dive in. But before you dive in, you have to ask yourself a very specific question. Is Dual Mode for me? Is this going to work? Will this raise the bar on my content, maintain the bar, or lower the bar on my content? Now, for most people, it will raise the bar, but you have to absolutely make sure that this is the right fit for you, your audience, your community, the people that you talk to. Now, there's a couple key considerations that you have to make sure you keep in mind when you're using Dual Mode. It will absolutely, positively, 188% actually, not exactly 188, it will take up a lot more space. If you're recording content and you're working with a machine with a smaller hard drive, you are going to need to move those files off your machine a lot more often because you're not just recording one video, you're recording two. And if you happen to be doing ISO modes, you're recording a lot more than that. It really depends on how many things and how many people you have on screen, how many guests you have, who you have in Zoom. So you have to absolutely make sure you have ample space for recording all these files that you're going to record. Another thing to keep in mind, this will use a lot of resources on your machine. Now, I highly recommend, if possible, you have a dedicated machine that's absolutely for streaming. For instance, on the machine that I use for streaming, I literally have Ecamm and my editing software and not much else. I try to keep a lot of unnecessary things on the machine because, well, they slow everything down, they take up a lot of space, and a lot of times you don't realize all those little icons you have running across the top of your menu bar, those are taking up resources that are the same resources that you're trying to use while you're recording, doing your live streams, your webinars, your Zoom, so forth, etc. Now, we get it. Not everybody can go out or have the resources to go and buy a very specific machine, but if that is your squeeze, you are probably good to go when it comes to Dual Mode because you can have a machine that's dedicated for doing this. More importantly than the specs, more importantly than the hard drive space, is your audience really designed, or should I say, is your audience really ready to take on you in multiple places? If your people are accustomed to coming to find you at your normal destinations that you stream to, then you want to work Dual Mode in slowly. You don't want to make people feel like they're missing out because you're publishing to 8 different platforms and they don't know which platform should be the one they go to or where everybody's going to be. Nothing like being the one person at the wrong party. You want to make sure you communicate with your audience, you take your time, you build into it slowly, and you let people know, hey, I am going to add an Instagram live feed maybe, or a YouTube vertical feed maybe. So if you happen to catch that, but you know majority of the people are commenting on the YouTube feed, be sure to jump on over to the YouTube channel so that you can get involved in the comments, because I will pay attention to comments on these other platforms, but I might not see them as well as the ones that we're used to. It's just a conversation that you have. Take some time to teach your audience where you are. Now, if you're brand new, hey, this is dope. You're going to build all these places at the same time, but you also got to pay attention multiple people in multiple places. So if, for instance, say you run a donut shop and you got a donut shop on the east side of town, full 100% attention to the east side. East side? But then you decide to get gangster and open up another donut shop on the west side. Now you got to pay attention to the east side and the west side. And then you get real good and you want to go north and south. Now you got 4 donut shops to pay attention to and you're running yourself ragged. That is multi-streaming is very much the same thing. You need to put yourself in a position. If you know you can handle it, cool. If not, please don't over inundate yourself because it will be a lot harder to manage. Now, we are a big community and we have lots of people who are dying to jump in and help you. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't feel like it's, you're not going to be in a safe place. Everybody is here to help. But I really wanted to make sure before you dive deep into Dual Mode that you kind of get a good think of what you're doing. And you know what I would do? Because I'm that weirdo. I would just test it. Science! I would just test it and make sure it works the way I want to work. But understand that if you're testing and run into any problems, feel free to reach out to support. Feel free to ask questions in the community or come back to this video and leave those comments down in the section below. And we'll do whatever we can to help you out. I don't know about you. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. That's Dual Mode, and we're Ecamm. And remember, if you look good, we look good. Wait, I don't think I'm supposed to say that. Right about now, we have another video that can take you a little bit further in your Ecamm journey. Let's take a look.